We'll start today with Heather Warraven. For those of you that don't know, Heather's our National Feral Pig Management Coordinator, and Heather's going to give us a bit of an update on her activities and the implementation of the plan. Over to you, Heather.
Thank you very much, John, and good afternoon to you all, and thank you all for joining us as well. Narelle, could I ask you please to progress to the slides? Thank you. I just wanted to provide a brief update this afternoon about where we're at with the plan and the activities that we've got in train to support the plan's implementation. So, of course, many of you may have already heard this before, but in terms of our priorities for this financial year, we're focusing and continuing to focus on promoting coordinated and collaborative action on a landscape scale and tenure basis, and whatever we can do there with land managers to support and encourage them to work together and do that at over large areas and on excuse me, and on an ongoing basis is also really important. We're continuing to work through what we can do about monitoring metrics, recognising here that we require good data to be able to measure where we're at and where we're going and be able to assess the success of programs. Management planning is, continuing to be a high priority, and it is something that we are addressing, and that's continuing to. We will get that template completed and onto the website shortly. Of course, identifying and filling knowledge gaps is a big thing here as well, and I'll talk about this in a minute as well. But this is where we've looking at conducting research and development and extension and identifying what those priorities are. That's a really important area in terms of being able to support on-ground activities. Stakeholder engagement and communication activities, of course, as you all recognise, this is something that we have focused on very strongly since the start of the plan, and what we can do here to share information and build all those relationships and partnerships across Australia, to share knowledge and information and build our capacity and capability is a huge area. So this is something that, of course, we focus in on, and these forums are an important part of doing that. Building the land manager networks and knowledge sharing, yes, it's part of that stakeholder engagement role or activity. And of course, anywhere we can look for new opportunities to support long-term resourcing and engagement through co-investment, carbon and biodiversity markets, or whatever else that may be, that is a big priority for us as well. And that, of course, is where the prospectus that we launched back in June at our first National Feral Pig Conference fits into that as well. Next slide, please, Narelle. So in terms of providing you with a snapshot of our current activities, first of all, we do have our research, development and extension plan now available on our website. This was developed up with support from our scientific advisory panel. So thanks to those members and others who contributed to this. That was great. And yeah, so that's available on the website. If you want to go and find that, it's under the plan webpage. We've also, support or encourage here with the Queensland government having monies available to support a regional feral pig coordination. This will be a three-year program funded through the Queensland Feral Pest Initiative, and supporting up to 4 regional feral pig coordinators. The applications for that round closed on February 29, so we look forward to seeing what comes of that and working with those regional coordinators as they're appointed. Next, please, Narelle. So in terms of monitoring our progress, keep going, one more. We have issued out to the states and territories a pest metrics questionnaire, and this covers not only pigs, but some of the other invasives too, where there are national programs in place. And where we compile that information in relation to feral pigs and using that information to help with determining what our, how we're progressing, but also establishing our baselines, because with all of this, it's really important to have some good quality KPIs to be able to report against, whether it's to the implementation committee or to our broader stakeholders such as yourselves. So really needing to have that information available. Next, please, Narelle. We were involved back a couple of weeks ago now with the National Vertebrate Pest Aerial Shooting Workshop. And this workshop was held in conjunction, or we partnered up with the National Deer Management program, or the National Deer Action Plan, and we also had Western Australian Department of Primary Industries Research and Development and the Primary Industries Research Resource South Australia, a region South Australia, I should say, and this was an invite-only event held in Canberra. And we had 81 people attend, and it was the first time that a national workshop such as this had been conducted. And really, this was held in response to interest across the sector in developing up national guidelines to help underpin best practice operations and support aerial shooting programs. So the workshop aimed to establish a national network among agencies and personnel who conduct aerial shooting to increase collaboration, learn and disseminate new information, and build best practice to ensure the safe and sustainable conduct of effective aerial vertebrate pest control. And we also discussed as part of this the development of national minimum guidelines or some components of this for the vertebrate pest aerial shooting operations, the methods that are suitable for different management goals, as well as mitigating risks to operators. And so this is we've started this discussion now. Now, of course, it's the next phase of this. What happens next? We're working and provide these recommendations through the terrestrial vertebrate working group and continuing to work with those in the sector to progress these initiatives. So there's more of a watch this space in this regard. Next one, please, Narelle. So the next one on my list here is the National Feral Pig Action Plan's co-investment project. So this is part of the grant agreement that Australian Pork Limited has with the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and Forestry for our National Feral Pig Management Coordinator Program. The part of the requirement here is to identify some projects that would contribute to delivery of our Goal 3 of the National Feral Pig Action Plan. We've been working closely with DAF around that, and as those projects are announced, we've developed up those projects. As they're announced, we'll provide that information to you all so that you all know what's happening in that space. Next one, Narelle. We're in the process also of updating the National Feral Pig Code of Practice and Standard Operating Procedures for the humane control of feral pigs, and this all started back in March last year when we were invited by the TBWG to do this. And so we've had jurisdictional feedback into this, and also now provided it out for external review, both to our people involved in the implementation committee and our other panels with the plan, as well as to the Centre for Invasive Species Solutions, the RSPCA, and several other agencies. And we're just compiling up that external feedback, and we'll then update those documents accordingly and provide them back through to TBWG for their recommendation for going up to the Environment Invasives Committee for endorsement. Once they have been accepted and that process has happened, they will be published on the PestSmart website and available to everybody. Thanks, Narelle. And we're also looking at, most recently, looking at the glove box guide that is available. This is a KISS publication, but we'll be looking to update this and working with them around that, so that the information that is in that glove box guide is current and up to date. Next slide, please, Narelle. So in terms of our Indigenous Advisory Panel, I've been working closely with Mark Hogno from the Carpentaria Land Council Aboriginal Corporation, as well as Justin Perry from the North Australian Indigenous Land and Sea Management Alliance, to see what we can do here about reinvigorating our Indigenous Advisory Panel. So we have working on this so that the members of this will be from both Southern and Northern Australia, to make sure that we've got good cross-section of feral pig management programs being conducted. So the purpose of this panel, it's really to help enable us to better understand what's needed from their perspective, of Indigenous ranger perspective, for their programs to be successful. And this includes both capability and capacity development, so that knowledge remains on the ground within those ranger groups, and they become self-sustaining. We want to be able to share knowledge of what's being done on country in different regions and landscapes to protect targeted assets from feral pig management, and this includes getting feedback on lessons learned and costs involved, and sharing that with others in that panel, as well as more broadly in our stakeholder community, in the broader community involved in feral pig management. Identifying and discussing opportunities, gaps, needs, investment priorities is also important. Understand the methodology needed for data collection, analysis, and data visualization to ensure that management decisions are better informed by useful and practical data is an important priority here. And there's some great work already underway, with some Indigenous ranges in that space. What can we do to build on that and to share those systems? As well as that, we're looking to deliver and disseminate solutions to Indigenous organisations to build and strengthen their programs. Next slide, please. Next dot point, please, Narelle. I'm pleased that Daniel Lewer, one of our implementation committee members, will be going over to America, I think, next week, and he'll be presenting a paper about our program to the American conference. So I think we've got, it's really good. We're quite excited. We've got about 25 minutes on their agenda. And Daniel will be talking about database decision-making being essential for effective feral pig management in Australia. And of course, it'll enable us to build and strengthen relationships with the Americans. And we look forward to the opportunities that brings as well. So thanks, Daniel, for offering to do that. Next please, Narelle. We're also in the beginning of planning for our next feral pig conference, so in next year, probably thinking around April. At this point, we haven't got any further than that. We haven't got a venue or dates or anything booked. But if any of you are interested in being involved in helping to organise that, please feel free to get in touch. Open to any support and assistance we can get in that space. Next, please, Narelle. And finally, just in terms of our stakeholder engagement, I just thought I'd let you know some major events that we're down for. And of course, this is not exclusive list. There are others, of course, that we get involved with as well at the local level. But Narelle will be at the Wage and Woolorama in March at the end of this week. I'll be going up to Beef Australia at Rockhampton. This is in conjunction with Greg Mifsud, the National Wild Dog Management Coordinator, and we'll be on the AgForce stand at Beef Week. So if anyone's in the region, please pop in and say hello. We'll also contribute a paper to the Australasian Vertebrate Pest Conference, and that's being held in Sydney in August, as well as that attending and putting a paper in as well about the plan to the Australian Biosecurity Symposium in August. But again, if any of you have workshops or events that we can contribute to, help promote or attend, or whatever we can do to raise awareness, please get in touch. And that's the point of the 3 dots at the bottom of this slide. So with that, John, I'll hand it back. And I just want to say, of course, if you ever want to get in touch, here are our contact details. You can find those on the website and also on the slide. Please get in touch, because we're here to help and support all the work on the ground that's required, and whatever we can do there to do that. So please continue to keep in touch and so that we can help to add value to your programs. Thank you.
Very much for that, Heather. As you can see, everyone, there's quite a bit of action in implementing the plan. If you have got other events or anything that you'd like us to participate in, or if you've got any feedback on the plan or its implementation, please get in touch with the contact details or through the website.